post a picture of your motherfucking mama. She dead, nigga. Hey, respect, nigga. Stop fucking playing with my mama. Nigga ain't playing like that. Nigga ain't going like that, nigga. How y'all raised? I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going about my mama. I'm not going. So tell your mama dig her ass up and post a picture that look better than my mama, nigga.
He talked about a dead woman not once. He made t-shirts with her face. He named a cannabis product after her. He recorded diss tracks dragging her name through the mud.
Yeah, I'm fly than a falcon, but rockin' gold just like a saint. Still rep the ATL, but from that south can't no one say I ain't. I had the mafia slide, they'll shoot your shirt up till that bitch catch flame. He tried to kill your boy, but killed my Tesla. He ain't hit a thing. Yeah.
And that woman, she was 8 years old when she died in a fire. She was 50 Cent's mother. Now the man who did all of that is reportedly trying to call a truce with the very person he mocked, and 50 Cent. He may be about to release a documentary that could destroy everything the Harris family has built. So here's the question nobody can answer yet. Did King Harris just hand 50 Cent the weapon that ends his family's legacy? To understand this story, you need to understand two things: who 50 Cent is and who King Harris thinks he is. Curtis James Jackson III, 50 Cent, grew up in South Jamaica, Queens. Shot 9 times and left for dead at 25. Signed by Eminem and Dr. Dre. Released Get Rich or Die Trying in 2003 and sold nearly 9 million copies in its first year. Built the Power franchise into one of the most successful shows in cable television history. Created G-Unit, built a media empire. He doesn't just win rap beefs, he turns them into content. He turns content into leverage, and he holds grudges the way other people hold investments. Patiently, quietly, until the moment he can cash out. King Harris is 21 years old. Born August 25th, 2004 to hip-hop royalty. Clifford T.I. Harris and Temeka Tiny Harris. Grew up on camera. Grew up in the public eye. Known for speaking his mind. For emotional confrontations on reality television. For boldness that sometimes outpaces his strategy. Those two things, 50's patience and King's boldness, collide in early 2026 in a way that is still unfolding. And the consequences might not stop for years. But before we get to King, we need to go back to where this whole thing started, because this isn't actually about King Harris. This started with his father. Cliff Harris, T.I., is one of the most decorated artists Atlanta has ever produced. In 2003, the same year 50 Cent was selling millions out of New York, T.Y. released trap music and helped define the sound of an entire city. Two legends, two coasts, two very different lanes. For years they coexisted. No major shots, no public drama, just two heavyweights sharing an industry. That changed around 2020. During the pandemic, Verzu's battles became the cultural moment. Swizz Beatz and Timbaland created a format where legends went hit for hit online, and millions of people tuned in from their living rooms. T.I. wanted 50 Cent badly. He brought it up in podcasts. He brought it up in interviews. He compared it to the iconic 2007 sales battle between 50's Curtis and Kanye West's Graduation, a moment that defined an era of hip-hop. I said he had the hits, he had the catalog, he had the influence. 50 Cent said no, not just no. He said it like the idea wasn't even worth considering. He pointed to his television empire. He said Verzu's wasn't his level anymore. He made it feel less like a rejection and more like a dismissal. And that's where things turned. For a man who built his reputation as the king of the South, being waved away like that felt like something more than indifference. It felt like disrespect. So the tension stayed alive. Low heat, never quite out. Then February 2026 arrived. T.I. sat down on Shannon Sharpe's Nightcap podcast and made a bold claim that there had been private conversations where 50 Cent initially agreed to Verzu's and then publicly backed out. Suddenly, this wasn't low heat anymore. 50 fired back with a diss track called Let Him Know. He shot the video in New York City, 50's home turf, which was its own kind of message before a single bar landed. The lyrics went at 50's age, his move from music to acting, and what T.I. called cracks in the tough guy image 50 has spent decades building. But here's the part nobody expected. 50 Cent did not respond with music. Not a single bar. Instead, he reached into his archive and pulled out a resurfaced clip from a 2003 legal situation involving T.I., a clip that implied cooperation with law enforcement. In hip-hop culture, there is no word that lands harder: snitch. With one move, 50 Cent didn't just deflect a diss track, he reframed the entire conversation. This was no longer about who had more hits or whose catalog was stronger. This was about T.I.'s character, his credibility, his story, and that's where everything changed. But here's what most people completely missed. 50 never needed to win a musical argument, he just needed T.I. to keep talking. When 50 Cent posted an unflattering photo of Tiny Harris on Instagram, the Harris family didn't stay quiet. T.I.'s sons, Damani and King, stepped up immediately. Damani showed some restraint. King did not. King Harris went viral within hours. His response was loud, emotional, and everywhere. He went directly at 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who died in a fire when 50 was just a child. Even as King said, in his own words, that he wasn't going to come at anyone's mother, he came at someone's mother. He said, and this is a direct quote that stunned the internet, "Tell your dead mama, dig her up and post a picture that looks better than mine." The internet's reaction was immediate, and it was not kind to King, because there's a line in hip hop that most people, even in the most heated beefs, understand instinctively. You can go at someone who's alive and can respond. What you don't do is just drag someone who passed away, someone's parent, someone's child, back into a fight they can't defend themselves in. King didn't just approach that line. He crossed it, printed t-shirts on top of it, and launched a cannabis product named after the woman he crossed it over. The brand was called Ms. Jackpot. It had Sabrina Jackson's likeness on the packaging. At 21 years old, in the middle of a feud his father started, King Harris was selling a weed product with a dead woman's face on it. The backlash was heavy, fast, loud. Most of the public didn't see a son defending his family's honor. They saw a young man using someone's deceased mother as content, and 50 Cent, he barely flinched. He posted memes, he dropped slick captions, he teased, and this line became famous: "LOL, they are going to learn to leave me alone." That silence was not indifference. It was a strategy that 50 Cent has been using for decades. He lets people talk. He lets them go too far. He waits until the moment arrives when what they've done speaks louder than anything he could ever say. Then he acts. Every clip King posted, every diss track, every t-shirt, every cannabis product, all of it was being cataloged. Every screenshot saved, every video archived. The Harris family was building a case against themselves in real time, and they didn't know it. The twist, 10-13 in early March 2026. A title started circulating online, Surviving T.I. and Tiny. The name alone hit like a thunderbolt, because everyone recognized what it was echoing: Surviving R. Kelly. The docuseries that reshaped public opinion on one of the most commercially successful artists in R&B history. That documentary didn't wait for a conviction. It built a narrative, it gathered voices, it let the story speak for itself, and it changed everything. Now 50 Cent was reportedly working on something with that same title structure, and in a now deleted post, he made the stakes explicit. He wrote, "Remember how quiet I got before the documentary? I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're gonna ask about your 20 sexual assault cases." He wasn't talking about music. He was talking about the allegations that surfaced in 2021. Multiple women who came forward accusing T.I. and Tiny of serious misconduct. Lawsuits were filed. Many were dismissed on legal technicalities. There have been no convictions. T.I. and Tiny have denied everything, maintaining that any situations involved full consent. But here's the brutal truth about the media age we live in. A documentary doesn't need a conviction. It doesn't need a verdict. It needs a story. It needs voices. It needs emotion. And it needs to be packaged in a way that makes people feel something when they watch it. 50 Cent has built an entire production empire on exactly that formula. If he applied those tools to this situation, the impact wouldn't be measured in diss track responses or Instagram comments. It would be measured in how people talk about T.I. in 5 years, and whether the deals still get signed, and whether the community work still carries weight, and whether the legacy survives. And here's the twist that changes how you see this entire story. King Harris, in trying to defend his family, may have made things significantly worse. Every piece of content he created, the videos, the tracks, the t-shirts, the cannabis products, all of it can be pulled into a documentary narrative. All of it can be presented as evidence of character, of judgment, of what the Harris family is willing to do when they feel threatened. What was meant as protection became ammunition. What was meant as loyalty became leverage. And the man holding that leverage didn't have to do anything except wait. This story is really about something bigger than two rap families feuding online. It's about how power works in the modern music industry. T.I. is an artist, a genuine one. He has decades of music, a proven catalog, business ventures, and community credibility built over 20 years of real work. But 50 Cent is something different now. He's not primarily an artist anymore. He's a media company. He produces television, he generates content, he controls narratives. He has the infrastructure to take a story and shape it into something that reaches millions of people across years, not days. That's an asymmetry that T.I. never fully accounted for when he pushed the Versus conversation. When you challenge someone who thinks in songs and the other person thinks in platforms, you're not in the same fight. You're in two different fights with two completely different sets of rules. King Harris stepped into this situation with energy and emotion, which are both real and valid. Defending your family is honorable. The loyalty is real. T.I. himself acknowledged it. He said openly, "Nah, my kids ride." But loyalty without strategy doesn't protect anyone. It just keeps the fire burning longer. Comment below right now. Do you think King Harris crossed a line? Or was he just defending his family the only way he knew how? Hip-hop has always lived at the intersection of art and confrontation. Beef has always been part of the culture. From Big and Pac to Drake and Kendrick, conflict has produced some of the genre's most important moments. But something is different now. The tools have changed. A diss track in 1995 was heard on the radio, and in the club, it had a life cycle of weeks, maybe months. A documentary in 2025 lives on streaming platforms. It gets clipped and reposted. It gets referenced in articles written years later. It becomes part of how history remembers you. And 50 Cent has seen what that format can do. He watched what it did to reputations he respected and ones he didn't. He watched how those projects outlasted any song, any album, any response track. When you understand that, his entire strategy in this situation makes perfect sense. He wasn't quiet because he didn't have anything to say. He was quiet because he was building something that would say it all at once. Here's where things stand. King Harris went silent in the weeks after the documentary rumors hit. The constant stream of posts, the diss tracks, the aggressive content, all of it cooled down noticeably. Whether that was his own choice, whether someone in his circle told him to stop, or whether the weight of the situation finally landed, no one outside that family knows for certain. T.I., by contrast, has not backed down publicly. He responded to the documentary talk by challenging 50 to go doc for doc, which could mean he's genuinely unbothered, or that maintaining confidence publicly is the only card he has left to play. Reports surfaced suggesting T.I. was deeply shaken by where this had escalated. Whether or not King actually reached out to 50 to try to pause the situation, and those reports exist, though nothing is confirmed. It wouldn't be surprising, because what started as a rapper's son defending his mother's honor has become something with legal dimensions, legacy implications, and a media machine pointed directly at his family. Diss tracks burn for a moment. Documentaries burn for years. That's the reality King walked into when he decided to go loud. He came prepared for one kind of war. He ended up in a completely different one. And the cruelest part? His father has been in the music industry long enough to understand exactly how 50 Cent operates. He's watched him do this before. He's seen the playbook. The question that still doesn't have an answer is whether anyone in that family saw the documentary coming, or whether they were all so focused on winning the moment that they missed where the moment was leading. Ending question. Final minute. Hip-hop culture has always honored standing your ground. It has always honored loyalty. It has always honored the willingness to defend the people you love, no matter what it costs. But the industry has changed. The fights aren't settled by better bars anymore. They're settled by who controls the story after the bars are done. A 21-year-old with energy and emotion walked into a war being waged by a 50-year-old media executive who has been building leverage since before that 21-year-old was born. And now, a family's entire legacy may depend on what gets released next. So here's the question we're sitting with. If the most powerful weapon in hip-hop is no longer the song, but the story someone else tells about you, what does that say about who actually holds power in this culture? And more importantly, what does it say about the price of picking a fight you can't finish?